Streets talk about. If it ain't making money, ain't nothing to talk about. Keep my mind on them stacks, cause that green give you cloud. If it's baby, I'ma always throw that down. I done put my work in the streets, rapping shot on these beats. A lazy man gon' stop, but a grind I always gonna eat. Everybody can do what I do, that's why I'm crushing your crew. From Chi-Town, Memphis, Tennessee, and all through the Lou. I'm so fresh and so new, got a hot album too. I'm taking all of these suckers' juice. I keep my promo on them poles, keep that power
this
out
Chicago.
my nose. I'm staying focused, man, with 1 million copies sold. Say my name.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
Say my name. Stayed on my green. I ain't never gonna let nobody talk me out of rolling with my team. Y'all know what I mean. Hungry fiends. They think they can outsmart you by selling you a dream. But I stay grinding cause I'm great making homie. And they can't figure me out because they really don't know me. You got that paper, show me. My mama didn't name me Toby. These suckers want slaves, but I'm shaking them like Kobe. It's real in the field.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
Pointing at you, ready to kill. These suckers better chill. Ask Brother Will. The king is in the building, so you haters take a meal. Say my name. What's my name? Say my name.
Say good night to the bad guy.
What's up, yo? What's up, y'all? What's up? What's going on, my family? Come on in, come on in, come on in, because today, and you know, we look at all of these things, all of it that we see happening in real time, led by Jason Whitlock, led by Jason Whitlock himself, and of course, Stephen A. Smith contributed to it because he let it go on. So that's why you got the thumbs down award with the black community, Stephen A. You said your thing and how you had the gripes with Jason Whitlock and how bad that he is. But no, the world is now looking at you all and how you all are carrying on and putting a young black woman on display like Sarah Baartman. You guys, I'm gonna walk you through it, and this is gonna be a great show for you. This is gonna be a good walkthrough for those who don't understand or know what they're looking at. This is gonna be a great show for you. This is gonna be a great show for those ones who understand what they're looking at. This also is going to be a great show for you. Jason Whitlock and others, the ones on Twitter X, the white folks that plays the game and then say, oh, you're pulling the race card. Yeah, we might be, but you're pulling the race card first. And you put yourself in the first class place of being a racist. Welcome to the Gingerbread Man Show. This is Steady Serv'N Sports ENT, an extension of Simply Ball Dropping Podcast with my main man K-Sap. What's up, K-Sap? Shout out to the Full Court Trio. Shout out to the Players Club. Shout out to Get That Off Your Chest podcast. Woo! We gonna unload tomorrow on the podcast itself. But y'all, I got to make you guys aware. I need you guys to wake up. I need you guys to be alert. I need you guys to wake up, because what I'm about to drop on you is the real ballistics. This is not about anger. Yeah, from the human zoo, the digital circus, the dehumanization of Angel Reese. This is what Jason Whitlock set out to do, along with the Caitlin Clark clan, the Caitlin Clark crew, as I hold up and put in place for you guys to understand where I'm coming from. I have to be able to put this through to let you guys understand that there's a history here that you guys are asleep about. There's a history that is hidden in all of this hoopla, in all of the mass media, in all of the craziness. There's a history of this type of thing had happened to dehumanizing Angel Reese and saying, ha, 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 it's just a folly, it's just jokes. No, these white folks is not joking. These black men are not joking. They are serious in what they display to you. They are serious in what they intend to do with what they're doing. As an example of Angel Reese, the hatred of the black woman continues to be heavily high and very, very immediate attack. So first, I would say tonight, this is bigger than basketball. Tonight, this has gone across the lines of someone getting their ass whooped. This has gone across the line of someone needing to be put as an example. Basketball terminology, you go and do a dehumanization of a young woman who has not done anything to you. Criticize the way you criticize, as I gave a great show to you guys last night. Criticize the way you criticize. But this is not about whether Angel Reese made the final shot. This is not about her shooting percentage, turnovers, rebound numbers, and whether you believe she has a good game or a bad game. Tonight, we are talking about what happens when criticism stops being about a black woman's performance. It becomes an organized public spectacle surrounding her appearance, her body, her humanity. Because I want to take you back more than 200 years. I want to tell you about a woman named Sarah Baartman. And then I want to ask a painful question: how we truly abandon the human exhibition. Have we truly abandoned that exhibition of humanity? Or have we simply placed it inside our telephones, our cell phones, as we would call it today? Sarah Baartman, from a Kuka woman, the South African young lady who was taken to Europe during the colonial era exhibited for paying audiences in London and in Paris. Yes, Sarah Baartman was put on display as an attraction. People purchase admission just to stare at her body. Promoters turn her natural appearance into public attraction. Advertisement and cartoons exaggerations were her features. Wealthy Europeans brought her into a private gatherings and saloons. She was treated as a curiosity, as something people could inspect, discuss, sexualize, and ridicule. She was a human being, but exhibition encouraged audience to see her as a specimen, as a spectacle, as an object. After Sarah died in 1815, the violation did not stop. Her body was dissected, her skeleton, a cast of her body, and provisions remained, where it was held on display in France for generations. Even death did not immediately return humanity to Sarah Baartman in her place. This is the horror of Sarah Baartman's story. It was not merely the individual said cruel things to her and about her. It was the entire system of transformed the humiliation into entertainment, profit, supposed public knowledge. The promoter needed the spectacle. The cartoonist needed the exaggerational image. The audience needed somebody to stare at. The institutions needed black body to define a different type of circumstances. Everybody received something except for Sarah Baartman. Now, let me completely be clear. Angel Reese is not Sarah Baartman. Angel Reese is not an enslaved, imprisoned woman. She is a successful professional athlete with her own voice, opportunities, supporters, businessmen, the public platform for all to see. We must never flatten Sarah Baartman's captivity and colonial exploitation by pretending that every modern insult of historical identification is on that woman. So rest in peace, Sarah. But history does not always repeat itself exactly in the same clothing. Sometimes the theater becomes a social media platform. Sometimes admission tickets become clicks. Sometimes cruel cartoon becomes memes. Sometimes the crowd becomes a comment section on Twitter X. Sometimes the promoter becomes the influencer or the media personality who knows that humiliating one particular black woman will produce views, reactions, and money. Jason Whitlock. This is my comparison. The conditions are different, but the machinery of spectacles have a disturbing familiarity. When Angel Reese plays poorly, criticize her game. Talk about the missed shot. Talk about finishing at the rim. Talk about decision-making, defensiveness, footwork, whatever legitimate basketball issue you see. Angel Reese is a professional athlete. Basketball criticism comes with being a professional. And she could not be just exempt from anything that criticizes real basketball criticism. Keep it real with yourselves. That comes with the territory. But let me explain something. Or can you, chat, the people, Jason Whitlock, explain something to me? What does comparing her to a sloth have to do with basketball? What does altering her face into a clown image teach us about her game? What do an animal comparison reveal about a missed layup? Nothing. This image and these images that we've seen are not basketball. They are acts of dehumanization. They attempt to move Angel from the category of athlete into a category of creature, from a complete human being into an object made public laughter. Jason Whitlock publicly circulated content mocking Angel Reese after a missed attempt, including a post who text invoked the sloth Reese. That is not an accident in historical echoes. Western societies have long documented, recorded the using of animal comparisons to Black people beneath full humanitarian type of subjects. You do not need to agree with Angel's opinions. You do not have to support her team. You do not have to think that she's the best player in the league. But once your entertainment requires turning a Black woman into an animal, something uglier than sports criticism has entered the room. And understand how the digital circus operates. Angel missed a shot. Somebody freezes the most embarrassing frame. Somebody exaggerates her face and facial expression. Somebody creates an animal comparison. Somebody adds clown makeup to her face. A personality reposts it. Fans laugh underneath it. Algorithms reward the engagement. Advertising receives the traffic. Platforms keep people scrolling. Angel Reese humiliation becomes currency. That is the modern exhibition hall. The people in Sarah Baartman's time paid entertainment for a physical room to see. Today, the audience enters through the timeline and pay attention to their attentions in platforms. Put the Black woman at the center. Distort her appearance. Strip away her individuality. Invite the audience to laugh. Collect the profit, Jason Whitlock. There is also a difference between criticizing and invent and waiting obsessively for one person to fail. Some hostile fans do not simply respond when Angel Reese has a bad game. They appear to circle her career, waiting for the turnover, the block shot, or the missed layup that they can detach from the rest of her performance and display a proof that it is a joke, that she's simply the joke of the room. She rebounds well, silence. She scores efficiently, move the goalpost. She helps her team win, find another complaint. She misses one important shot. Suddenly, digital arena is impacted everywhere. This is ordinary freedom. This is a ritual humiliation. This is a choir waiting for its cue. And Jason Whitlock is there with his wand waving it in the air, just as the little girl that he is. One account creates an image, another account repeats the insult, and media personality amplifies it. Thousands pile into comments, and everyone tells themselves that's because they are practicing and participating together. Nobody personally is responsible for it. This is how crowds become cruel. This is how they lynched us as Black people in the early days. Now, not every Indiana Fever fan participates in this behavior, and Caitlin Clark should not be held responsible totally for the racial comments and the racism committed in her name. Angel herself has this disgusting memes about her from Clark people and their obsessiveness to make her into an animal instead of her being a human that has failed. The abuse of Caitlin Clark clan members, the abusiveness of those that are in the media circle has been obsessive to make her other than herself. But fans who do participate must be named honestly. RG3, you cannot use basketball loyalty as a camouflage for racism, misogyny, and dehumanization. Supporting Caitlin Clark does not require you hating Angel Reese. Supporting Caitlin Clark does not require you of hating Angel Reese. It does not require you to make her an animal. It does not require you to make her a clown. Celebrate one woman does not require stripping another woman of her humanity. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese can be competitors without fans constructing a racial morality, playing the game in which one must represent everything pure and the other must be mocked as everything is ugly. The story was created around them. Angel food cake is white. Devil food cake is black. It's chocolate. The story was created around them. It does not have to be accepted. Sarah Baartman was simply laughed at because people consider her different. Her difference was manufactured. Artists exaggerated her proportions of her body. Promoters staged her booty. Racist thinkers assigned meanings and features of what she was born with. The audience was taught how to look at her before they even entered the room. How to point their fingers, how to laugh and throw tomatoes, how to even throw darts at her behind to see if she had pain. That is important. Dehumanization does not mean with the final insult it comes that, but it is the beginning of a narrative. Public ridicule must first be taught to target its uniquely deserves in its criticism. But ridicule, destructive, no. This is really on purpose. And the attack on Black people have always been the existence in the beginning of its time of when it was created. With Angel Reese, people, with Angel Reese, people repeatedly tell audience that she is ignorant. People repeatedly tell audience that she's arrogant, unintelligent, unskilled, jealous of Caitlin Clark, and obsessed with Caitlin Clark. This is what they sell to people. This is what is constructed to people. This is what is shown to us over and over and over and over again. This is what they're selling. This is the shit that they want us as Black people to carry. This is what they're afraid of, because they're afraid of people like me who will bring it to the forefront and talk about it really methodologically. This is what they want to sell one another. The white people, the white clans, the ones, the Black men that is there to show all of these type of things. The hatred of the young Black girl. Why is this important, bro, Claude? This is very important because we have to understand what history is, or you just might miss it. This is important. Thank you, Just Lights, for the $2 super chat. Jason and other CC fans eventually gotta let 23 go. The Angel Reese repeated conversation is going to go down in history as the most talked about young Black woman in the history of WNBA basketball. And Jason Whitlock, Stephen A. Smith, and others are at the helm of it. Confidence becomes arrogance. Emotion becomes instability. Celebration becomes disrespect. Silence becomes jealousy. Defending herself becomes playing the victim. Jason. Speaking openly becomes the lack of class. Even her physical appearance becomes public property of strangers to distort the image and judgment. Arguments is designed so that she cannot win in no form or fashion. She answers, they say it bothers them. She stays silent. They say, keep attacking. She plays well. They minimize her performance. She plays poorly. They hold up a festival and say, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. The demoral and dehumanization of a thing can be real. Ask the oldest person in your family. What do they remember about what white people did to us in the 60s and 50s and 30s and 40s and 1500s in the early testimonies? You will hear the same thing. And I'm not making this show based on Black Lives Matter, because all lives matter. But I'm making this show to show you and reveal what is the attempt in the historical comparison of it. The object is no longer to understand the person. The object is to maintain the show about a person. I ask a question. Who profits? Who receives views every time Angel Reese is insulted? Who owns and earns engagement from clown imagery? Who grows an audience by persisting her as a villain and presenting her as a villain? And the top villain of all women's basketball, who grows their audience behind that? Who stays relevant by provoking anger around her name? Jason Whitlock is entitled to criticize Angel Reese because performance does count. Public statements does matter. And conduct also matters. We know that the conduct part, the Caitlin Clark, early on and all the way up into the last game, has a problem. But it's enough of that about that white girl. But when public commentary repeatedly centers and humiliating imagery and an animal style comparison, it deserves a moral examination beyond his only joking, that he's only joking with us, and it's only a joke. A joke does not become innocent simply because an audience laughs. An exhibit and in an exhibition and an exemplifying example of Sarah Baartman's behind. They produce production and entertainment values of that. The cartoonist also claimed satire. The audience also believed it had purchased the right to stare and laugh at a woman's body. The history does not remember the laughter or the harmlessness. It remembers the humanity, the laughter, the depiction, the description of an animal, of a young black girl. And I want to say something directly to the people participating in this. Before you post their image, remove Angel Reese's name, or I'm gonna find you. Don't be scared, because I know it's some of you top editors of these top companies. ESPN, Yahoo, ABC, NBC, Fox. I know that is you. Me. I'm saying this and taking it on this podcast, that you will be found and revealed because your post of an image is to remove Angel Reese's humanity, to create laughter behind making her a clown or an animal. You removed her jersey. In her clothes and put her on stage so people can laugh at her body. But you can remove her jersey. You can remove her basketball rivalry. You can remove all of the other things. But now look at what remains. You have taken the face of a young black woman and altered it to make her resemble an animal. or you have made a face into a clown. Ask yourself why and why that feels entertaining. Ask yourself why her beauty, confidence, visibility seems to create such anger for you. Ask yourself why a missed layup gives you permission to attack her physically in a physical human being that is a college graduate, smart and intelligent. Ask yourself whether you are analyzing sports or joining a historical tradition given by the European. That would concern me. But also a historical tradition, you would condemn it to appear in a museum right now in France. Because racism does not always announce itself with a slur. Sometimes it hides behind a meme. Sometimes misogyny hides behind sports talk. Sometimes cruelty hides behind laughter. And sometimes an audience says it's only a joke, because admitting that the joke is doing what is required to look into a mirror. Angel Reese is not a zoo exhibit. She is not a meme. She is not an animal comparison, nor do she look like an animal. She has not a face of a clown. She is not an object placed in the center of a digital room for strangers to throw insults at. She is a person. She is a daughter. She is a teammate. She is a personal, professional athlete. A young Black woman carrying enormous expectations while learning how to succeed and sometimes failing in front of the whole entire world. Yes, hold her accountable. Yes, analyze her basketball. Yes, disagree with her on some comments. But criticism must stop at the border of her humanity. Sarah Baartman story should teach us this social and society that it can become accustomed to starting and staring at a Black woman in the center stage and pointing at her bodily figures and making and creating laughter of dysfunctions. Should we be laughing at the memes that all of these people place? Sure. I laugh at some of the stuff that is funny in its perspective. But I don't laugh at things that are dehumanizing, depicting. See, they're trying to continue to strip her down as not being a human being, making her a jester or a joker or one who wears makeup in the middle of a ring in circus clown, making her an animal that should be caged and fed and thrown things that as children do. Keeps their secret identity of hate hidden. She could hear the laughter. She could feel the inspections. She understands strangers have converted her body into a public argument. And today, when thousands of people gather beneath a dehumanizing image of Angel Reese, we shouldn't pretend the target cannot feel the crowd simply because of the crowd is digital. No, we can't pretend that the crowd does not exist because it is on a digital platform. Those people that are there on a digital platform are human beings that are participating in dehumanizing Angel Reese. The lesson is not every white person is evil, but a lot of them are. The lesson is not that racist system were built to sustain by people who considered themselves as ordinary. An ordinary person or people can reproduce the cruelty when they can stop questioning the spectacle. Once again, the lesson is that racist system were built and sustained by people who consider themselves ordinary, and that ordinary people can reproduce that cruelty when they stop questioning the spectacle. The responsibility belongs to every person who creates, amplifies, monetizes, and accuses and dehumanizes the content, regardless of what race you are. The responsibility also is on those of us who's watching and laughing and sharing. We can refuse admission that the digital that we see dehumanizes her and make her a zoo human. We can refuse to admit that it makes her some type of animal that is caged. But we also can stop sharing the degraded images. We can challenge our fans to fight their fans with the same energy that they put into showing us that she is not a human being. I beg all of those who come behind Angel Reese to hold up your sword, put your helmet on and your shield. Follow me into the victory of slaying the enemy in the outright racial humiliation that has been outright given, in the misogyny, in the sexual discriminatory things that Jason Whitlock himself is at the head of that base. Most importantly, we can say Angel Reese's name without turning her into a symbol for strangers to punish. More than 2 centuries after Sarah Baartman was placed before European crowds, humanity is being tested again. Not inside the London and Paris exhibited halls, but across millions of glowing screens. The technology has changed. The speed has changed. The size of the crowds have changed. But whenever a Black woman's appearance is distorted, her failures are sold as entertainment, and her humanity is replaced by an animal or a clown image, we are hearing an echo from the ages we claim that we have left behind. Do not mistake the echoes of harmless laughter. That's what they claim. Do not call the exhibition and exploitation as content. That's what they say. Do not call dehumanization. It's just criticism. That's what they want you to believe. And do not tell Angel Reese or any black woman that she's just a silent attempt of dehumanization because she carries chaos publicly in her career. Sarah Baartman deserves dignity. While she was alive, she deserved dignity to walk the earth as a human being. She deserved to be free. She deserved to just be left alone and be her own individual self. So Sarah Baartman did not be able to do those things because of her captivity. Angel Reese deserves dignity right now. This is Steady Serv'N ENT, where I can tell the truth about what's going on in the game and surrender all truths that happened in the game. But I will not surrender any mother sucker that tries to take her humanity. I will not surrender to you nor those who let themselves be known that they are racially inspired with these animal pictures. You, Albert, are one of those people. You, Albert, and your people have been savages for thousands of years and has been on display with this type of activity that we say now that we are past. What do any of this have to do with basketball? What do any of this have to do with intelligence? What does any of this have to do with black people? Because I'm here to call all of the races out, to bring it forward, to let them see me in the forefront, to let them know that there are men and thousands of us, hundreds of thousands of us who will stand for our black women, our black girls, our black children, our black babies. We will be here to stand for us and ours and our beautiful, 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 beautiful black girls. We will be here to give outrage to you when you attack our young women. We will be here to fight you fist in hand, vocally, morally, all of the different types of platforms, to be here for us to discuss the real reason why you hate us. Just like Michael Jackson said, all I want to say is they don't really care about us. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. They want to take our music. They want to take our natural abilities. They want to take our hip hop slang and swag. They want to take our dance moves, our different personalities, the way that we have in ourselves, and call it their own. And then they simply hide behind and say, like Brother Albert, it's just a game. No, when you go past morality, it becomes something else. It becomes something else when you go past a woman's dignity and dehumanizing her and calling her a sloth, turning her face into a clown's face. See, Albert, you don't understand that it has been done to us. It has yet to have been done to you and your mothers and your aunties It has yet to be done to you. So there's no way that you can ever understand what I'm talking about. There's no way that you can even get what I'm talking about, because you are on the other side of where the arrows are shot from. It's kind of comfortable coming from where the weapons are being launched from. It's real comfortable, but it's uncomfortable when they all land over here on this side. This is not just a demoralizational type of tactic that I'm using. This is a dehumanizing tactic that they have been using, that I'm pointing out, that you're saying, oh, it's not that serious. But you have killed people years and years and years, unalive people, by dehumanizing them. And I won't let you get away with it. And this is very disturbing to me, to my family, and everyone else who understands what I'm talking about. So I came here with this important message. Angel Reese, you are not a victim. You are beautiful. You are talented. You are intelligent. You are powerful. You are loved by us. And you are born to be, protected, respected, yes, by us for the rest of your days. And like I said, for all of my Angel Reese factions, the Reese's Pieces, the mature ones, the aunties, the uncles, you go out and give them hell. You give them hell. Because this is not the end. Just the layup is not the end of Angel's day. Angel Reese will continue to make history and break records and have records, because she is the baby goat. She is a historian in herself. She is what this baby girl has to look forward to. You are delusional when you think that it's not racism. You're delusional to think that you can pull anything against my children. You're delusional if you think that I will let you be cruel. You're delusional. And you ought to go and find whatever God that you serve, because we gonna come at you and for you. With every breath that I take, I am going to represent Angel Reese and let her know that it is strong people behind her and all of the excellent that she does. So turn on your notifications every time I drop a hot banger. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join this channel. Be a part of this channel if you understand what I'm saying and want to be part of the bread makers. Because we are here to talk about basketball, not enjoy a dehumanizational tactic, characteristic, and exhibition. We're here to talk about basketball. The right, the wrong, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the game. But all the rest of that shit that you do on the outside is lame. Bars. Yes, I appreciate everybody. Listen, I thank you for what you've done. I thank you for what you do. And I thank you for what you will do. And as always, I leave as I came, with another bang.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
Yeah.
Say good night to the bad guy.
That's right. So I'm going to just tell y'all and leave this alone. Angel Reese, we love you over here. We love you with all of our hearts. Continue to grind and be the star that you are. Grind hard, baby. Grind hard.
Here's something everybody can feel. I done worked so hard that my legs feel like steel. It's 2 a.m. and I ain't done yet. Still got a 50 pack that I ain't touched yet. That's why they call me the gingerbread man. I don't just get money, I get all I can. Young bros pulling up, getting high as a kite. Ask the bread man why he still out tonight. I'm so addicted, is what I reply. I'm so used to making money, I don't look in the sky. I get that cash when I'm out on the corner. I keep the block hot like fat men in the sauna. You send that broad at me, no nigga, I don't wanna. You can keep that trick out on a Cicero corner. I'm about my paper, man, at the end of the day. And if you ain't about that, stay the F out my way. Yeah, real soldiers don't sit and complain. They adapt to what it is and still get money, man. Everybody talk about that they hustle, but if you ain't hit them blocks, soldier, you ain't hustle. Real soldiers don't sit and complain. They adapt to what it is and still get money, man. Everybody talk about that they hustle, but if you ain't hit them blocks, soldier, you ain't hustle. I'm on some rap shit, so you better be glad I ain't black suited